I want to paint a picture for you. I want to take back in time to back to school age when obviously we didn't have our own businesses, and some of us, the more creatively wired, may have had some problems with being in school and sitting still and all of that. So I want to paint a little picture of a little girl, say she's in 4th grade, and she has a love of learning. However, she cannot stop talking. She's really talking. She's looking at everything all at once. Focusing is difficult. Daydreaming is going on big time. Lots of creative ideas going on. And she has a problem with time, with losing track of time and not even being able to feel what it meant when they said 3 weeks this project is due. But the 3 weeks was out here, and she couldn't really feel time until it was the 11th hour. So then it was scream, scream, scream up to the deadline, hyper-focus, get it done, get a good grade, but really be racked with exhaustion. Really took a toll on the adrenals. That little girl was not very understood. Everybody thought that maybe she was lazy or she was lacking. She was actually above average intelligence, quite brilliant. But she just was creatively wired. So in this society, we look at people and say what they don't fit into. Didn't fit into the normal box. And then we can put labels on it, right? We can put an ADD or ADHD or bipolar or whatever. We can put, or autism spectrum disorder, which covers a whole lot. In fact, since the time I was a child, that spectrum has gotten larger and larger and larger. So all kinds of kids are put on these drugs and these regimen because there's something wrong with them. Truth is, there's nothing wrong with them, other than maybe the family life could really use some help, maybe with Dr. Beth. So I was that little girl. And most people now don't know that I have ADD. I didn't know until I was 30 years old. I went through a pilot research study because it didn't fit even the norm of that, because there's hundreds of forms. And basically, I just have a creatively wired brain. You could have a creatively wired brain, and we'd be different. We're just our own creation, right? So when I found that out, it started me on a whole journey of collecting tools, figuring out systems, gathering research. I've been doing that for 28 years. And I have a successful business, a 33-year marriage. I'm really happy. You know, I'm a successful, fulfilling life. But it wasn't always that way. In fact, before I knew that this was going on with me, it was really a hidden disability. I didn't know what was wrong with me because people told me there was something wrong with me. And I started my first business, and I had troubles. I had trouble prioritizing and staying on task. I was procrastinating. I didn't know why I wasn't motivated by things that I knew I should do, but I just never got to them. There was a lot of clutter and disorganization. You know, life was rather chaotic. And so that business didn't go very far past a hobby because I really couldn't dig in and do the work that I needed to do to make it thrive. Knowing what I know now, knowing that there are really very simple solutions and systems that you can use, really has given me a lot of compassion and a great desire to work with others so that they don't have to struggle. Because let's face it, as solopreneurs, we have lots of balls in the air and we wear lots of hats and we find ourselves procrastinating or wanting to focus more, wanting to move forward and not knowing what the roadblock even is. I developed a program called Turning I Can't into I Can, because we need those systems. And it was my own discovery of what I needed, and then working with hundreds of clients since then to find out what worked for them. It really works. And it's not as hard as you think. And some of it is combating that inner critic so that you can move it out of the way. So I like to say it's turn your brain around, get out of your own way, and surge forth so that you can thrive. I've been able to do this with a number of groups. I've been able to do it for the state of California, the Department of Rehab. People come in there with disabilities and they're either on a learning track or on a work track, so I would be a job coach for them. With the California California Human Development, they have people that are coming out of the path of addiction. Women that have cycled down because they either were in a bad relationship, they came from a family that didn't support them. Many of us have these learning differences. I also have 20 years in recovery. So when I go there, I teach these kinds of things because they're not just business skills, they're living skills. And these women were getting lots of information about addiction, but they weren't learning how to figure out what you want to say and move forward, how to prioritize things, how to get yourself motivated. So motivation is an interesting thing. When you look at something that's totally overwhelming and you go, I don't really want to see that, I'm not ready for it, I'm just not motivated to do it right now. Guess what? You may never be motivated to do it until you scream up to a deadline. And then you're motivated because now the executive functions are on gear and they are really generating those chemicals that get you going. However, what you're doing is you're relying on your adrenaline and your cortisol, which is the fear chemical. That's hard on us. That's very hard on us. And there's other ways to do it. In fact, this is a super tip for you. If you're not motivated to do something, get a buddy. Somebody that can help you with an accountability piece. And just let her know, or him know, that you're going to be doing this. I don't really want to do it, but I've got to get it done. So I'm just going to let you know I'm going to do this. As soon as you are off the phone, you set a timer. Set it for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then start. Now the executive functions will start firing, and you will get the motivation. It's really that simple. And it'll feel so much better than walking by that pile and going, no, 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 I don't hear you. You know, I don't want to see you. I'm not ready to do you, right? So as entrepreneurs, we really can lift each other up. We really can support each other and get those skills. And I'd be honored to work with you. If you'd like to know more about it, please give me a call. And if you have any groups that you'd like me to speak to, I'd be more than happy to go. I'm Marjorie Favuzzi with Success in Hand. I believe that everybody deserves to succeed. Give me a call. Thank you.